For your insights. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Horace?
For more on the Trump administration's effort to transform the federal government, I'm joined by Georgia Republican Congressman Buddy Carter. He's a member of the House Budget Committee and the newly formed DOGE caucus. Congressman, thanks so much for being with us this afternoon. I want to start where we just left the conversation with the former acting director of OPM, Rob Shriver. He talks about fundamental government functions potentially being hampered by federal workers taking these buyouts. Do you share some of those concerns?
No, I don't share those concerns. Look, 5 years out of COVID, and we only have 6% of American workers, of federal workers, going back into the office full time. That's ridiculous. And if they don't want to go back to the office, then they need to find another job. That's as simple as it is. And this is what President Trump is trying to say. He's offering them a very generous package, by the way. 8 months. I mean, who wouldn't take that if you're interested? If you're not interested in working, take 8 months and go find something else. And all this surprise. Oh, I can't believe he's doing this. He told you he was going to do this. The American people voted overwhelmingly for him to do this.
I do wonder, Congressman, how you connect the dots between having federal workers who have been working remotely because of COVID coming back to the office with DOGE associates taking control or at least having access to some of the sensitive payment systems of the Treasury, for example, and some of these OPM systems. How are those two things related?
No, look, the DOGE employees don't have access to sensitive information. They have read-only access, preliminary access, and they're all just looking for inefficiencies. They don't have your access to your personal information. Only federal employees have that in the Treasury. So that's not something we should be concerned about. They don't have that access. We've been getting calls in the office from people, oh my God, Elon Musk has got my information. No, he doesn't have your information. They're just looking for inefficiencies.
I do wonder whether the DOGE caucus is conducting oversight on Musk and his associates, and if you could distinguish for us what you mean by they don't have access versus they have read-only access.
Well, I can distinguish it by saying they don't have access to your personal information. And you only have that if you're a federal employee and you have clearance with that. But the DOGE employees don't have that access, so people shouldn't be concerned about that. And yes, the DOGE caucus, we do have control over this. And, that's the reason the DOGE caucus exists. Because, look, the DOGE employees really don't have any authority, but when they need something, they identify something, it'll be up to us in the DOGE caucus to act on it and to legislate on it.
You have no concerns about this sort of extra governmental entity that wasn't created by Congress. It's supposed to be an advisory council, a sort of advisory role. You have no concerns about them having access to these systems? I mean, you say that they don't have access, but they have read-only access. I wish that would be clarified somehow. What exactly does that mean?
Well, what it means is that they can't go and find your personal information. They can look for inefficiencies. And all of us have done this through looking through information before on the computer. And we understand what the difference is between read-only and between having access to personal information. Let me assure you that that's not what's happening right now, and assure the American people that's not what's happening. Yes, they are looking for inefficiencies as they were charged to do. And we expect for them to do that. And when they find them, we expect for them to bring it to the DOGE caucus. Let us act on it legislatively.
To that point, it appears that some DOGE associates sought to shut off U.S. aid payments using the Treasury's payment system. Those are funds that had already been dispersed by Congress, appropriated by Congress. So does DOGE's authority supersede your own and your colleagues?
No, it does not. Of course it doesn't. Look, the U.S. aid that was cut off should have been cut off. I mean, $15 million for condoms for the Taliban? And
Sir,
$47,000 to a transgender opera in Colombia?
$15 million for condoms for the Taliban?
That's what we hear. That's what they discovered. I mean,
are you conflating
things?
Are you talking about the $50 million that was supposedly meant for condoms in Gaza? Are you conflating those two things, sir?
I am not. I am not. This is the type of thing that they're finding, and this kind of thing that we want them to find. There is inefficiency. When you have a government as big and bloated as we have, you're going to find inefficiencies like this, and that's why we need DOGE. That's why we need to identify these inefficiencies. Look, I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. Don't try to pull this over me, okay? And that's what we're talking about here.
I will look into that supposed $10 million for condoms for the Taliban. It sounds a lot like the false claim that we've heard about $50 million for Gaza that was way incorrect. Actually, it was $100 million the last time I heard President Trump say it. I do wonder generally, though, whether you're comfortable with someone that Americans did not elect who has direct business ties not only to the U.S. government, but also Chinese business and indirectly the Chinese Communist Party, having this much influence and reach into sensitive government systems and decisions that are made about money that has been allocated by Congress. Are you comfortable with that?
What I'm comfortable with is what DOGE is charged to be doing, and that is looking for inefficiencies within our government system, looking for waste, fraud, abuse, seeing where we can make government more efficient, seeing where we can have more than 6% of the federal employees coming to the office full time, seeing where we got empty buildings sitting here in Washington, D.C. with nobody in them. Look, it is time. You and I are paying for this. You pay your taxes, I pay my taxes. The American taxpayers are the ones paying for this. We deserve an answer.
I understand that. I just want to correct something you said. I was just handed a fact check. These are previous OMB statistics that say that 54% of federal workers don't actually telework at all. You said 6% of federal workers actually go into the office. Nevertheless, I understand what you're getting at, and eliminating government waste and making the government more efficient. I think that is widely supported, but I wonder if how it's being put into practice by having the richest man in the world, who again has these government contracts that bring up questions about conflict of interest, who has business with China, which also brings up questions of conflict of interest. Are you okay with essentially sitting in the passenger seat as Elon Musk takes the steering wheel of the U.S. government?
What we have is a businessman who understands business, or what we have is a president who understands business, who is going to run this government like a business, and it needs to be run like a business. We need to have accountability. We need to have responsibility. The American taxpayers deserve that, and that's what this president is trying to bring. He campaigned on this. The American people elected him overwhelmingly on these things that he said he was going to do. Now he's doing them. Everybody's throwing their arms up. I can't believe he's doing this. He told you he was going to do this. Now, say what you will about Donald Trump, but when he tells you he's going to do something, he does it.
Congressman, I got to tell you, $50 million for condoms to the Taliban. The U.S. government apparently procures condoms at about 3 cents each one. That's a lot of condoms. Are you standing by that, sir? We're going to fact check it. We're going to have you back on and ask you about it.
That's fine.
All right. Look forward to that conversation. Representative Buddy Carter, thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Still ahead, President Trump's rapid dismantling of U.S. aid leaves workers around the world